The Selectmen's meeting to order. Open session public meetings are subject to being videotaped. Your voice and image may be recorded. All right, we have a 7:10 appointment with Mark Rhodes and a 7:30 to 8 meeting with FinCom. You got my outline for the library trustees?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. And an 8 o'clock meeting with the library trustees. So we'll hop right in. Are there any minutes?
2 sets?
2 sets. Oh, sorry. Looking at the wrong file there. All right.
Did you send them?
A while ago. They didn't come over the
Oh,
weekend.
all
There
right.
was one
That was the ones we
executive-
deferred.
June 7th.
One, that was the Energy Committee joint meeting with,
Yep.
and then the other was the
Yeah, I read
executive
those.
session.
Okay.
I don't.
I don't remember seeing that.
Okay, we'll pass over those for now. All right. The next item is a real estate tax refund in the amount of $13,616.75.
What year is that? Because there's 2.
That is fiscal year 14. And that's to Highland Commons Associates. Move to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Nope.
Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have a real estate refund in the amount of $11,842.62. This is also to Highland Commons. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Nope.
Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next, we have payment of an invoice to Guardian Energy Management, the amount of $16,206. This is for the work at Berlin Memorial School, vent cleaning, etc. And this is from the Green Community Grant, correct?
Yes.
So again, 16,206, motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
The next, we have a reimbursement from Selectmen's expenses.
This one goes to Lisa too.
Yep, for website application purchases in the amount of $59.99. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any comments or questions?
Nope.
Hearing none, take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next, we have a bill for architectural consulting group in the amount of $6,080. This is going to be paid from the special article monies?
Yes.
Yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Do I sign this one? Or... There's another signature on there. Is this me or is this?
Any of us,
Anybody?
department heads, represent. Okay. Oh, okay. This is a signature required. It's the invoice for the reimbursement of the community
Mass Cultural Council.
Mass Cultural Council, yes. Grant that we have for the town hall in the amount of 200 and...
Actually, the amount that you're applying for is just a portion of it right now.
Is 64?
Yep.
Okay, 64, which is 64,000 of the 242.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We have change orders in the amount of $37.21 and $28.35. And are we going to...
Just one.
Just one?
Just change order proposal, request number 5, $3,724.47 plus 2 days onto the contract time.
Okay. And... Okay. And then...
Those other things are just the sub pieces.
Oh, the
to it.
subtotals,
Yep.
okay. All right, and are we paying this one out of...
This is the proposal, it would be fiscal year 18 money, because this is just approval to do the work, and the money's gonna actually
Okay,
occur in 18.
right.
How you pay it in 18, we're not sure yet.
Right, absolutely, okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Fire department. Yeah, we can go. I think we got, yeah. Do you want to speak to this? This is approval for fiscal year 18 pay structures for the fire and EMS department. First Captain Fire Inspector Litchfall will be going from a salary of $26,000 for 24 hours a week. Maybe you want to explain, and 15,000 plus?
Yep, we're just going to an hourly rate for the position instead of the salary,
Okay.
as we agreed upon in the last
Yep.
couple of meetings that we had. So that's just to, I guess you needed to actually put it.
Yeah, but I
into the
don't understand what
classification
you're
plan.
saying here.
Yeah. What's that?
I don't understand what you're saying in this letter. It says, we'll be going from a salary of $26,000 for 24 hours per week and $15,000 plus.
That's what he made over the last year.
Okay, for on-call
So,
wages to a
now
grade,
he's going
okay.
to
To a
the
grade
hourly,
8, step
but there'll be
9,
a
3160, okay.
Potential for overtime,
Gotcha,
at my discretion.
yeah. Okay, so this, again, we talked about this the last time. This represents an increase in his hours, but not an increase in the rate above that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then per contract, the chief's salary will go from $2,800 a week to $2,900 a week. So this is being requested by us as the Personnel Committee.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
Are there comments or questions? No. Again, we had discussed the Litchwell situation last week in considerable detail and put out a statement on that. All right, hearing no comments or questions, I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This one's Lisa too.
Okay. Chief Galvin, do you have something you need to talk to us beforehand, or?
Nope,
Okay, I just
I'm
thought,
gonna meet with the FinCom later, so.
oh, that's fine, okay. Sorry, Mark, I just thought if you had a minute or two,
No, that's
we'd
fine.
take care of that before we went in. All right, I'm gonna hold off on the discussion of the liquor barn, because I think we need more than a minute to talk about that.
You got anything you want to wrap up? You're welcome to do so.
No, that's fine. I mean, those will take a little time anyway. No, we might as well go to it, because there's nothing here that we can do in a minute or two. So, you want to come up?
Seth Donahoe from Duchamp and Dillis. He's got all the.
Would you like the plan set up? I brought small copies if you prefer.
Sure. Why not?
Okay.
And this is, remind me here, I know we're talking about the earth, an earth removal permit. Is there anything else that, or is that just it?
Well, we sent you correspondence on June 12th, and that related to, as you know, it's a Chapter 40B comprehensive permit we're
Yes.
seeking. And that correspondence was related to waivers to Article 6 and Article 12 of the town bylaws, which is the curb cut and also the earth
Yeah.
export from the site. We do not have an import at this site.
Right, okay.
And I have copies of that correspondence if you need it as well.
Do we have that in here, or?
Should be. Oh, it could be over here.
If you have a small copy, could you?
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Here, please. Would be easier to see.
So this was the entire plan set that was last submitted to the Zoning Board of
Okay.
Appeals.
Thank you. That's okay, we're getting here. Do you have the correspondence?
I do.
That'd be great, thanks.
How many do you have? Do you want extras?
I have one extra for you if you'd like. So if this was a by right development, there would be two permits that we were seeking from the Selectmen.
Mm-hmm.
And that is for the right to remove the curb cut at the site. Presently, there's an existing driveway, and we're relocating the driveway. The existing driveway is in this vicinity, and we're moving it down here. And part of our request is we're desire to make the driveway to the standards of a minor road, as outlined in the subdivision regulations. And within that plan set, we have a site distance detail, and that shows that the site distances available at the site at the proposed driveway location is in excess of what Mass DOT would require. It is a fairly slow speed limit road, and realistically even slower when you add the school zone adjacent to it as well. So we have appropriate ways to enter and exit the site. And then as far as the earth removal goes,
Mhm.
the site's extremely flat. It has about
Yes.
a 2-foot grade change with the exception of this back corner, which we're not altering. So each cellar hole would probably result in about 750 cubic yards of export of material. And the desire to export that is if we were to reuse it on the site, the foundation heights would have to be much higher because we would be using that material to mound up each home site. And in turn, the homes would be much more visible with higher ridge heights. So we'd like to take that material off-site, and that'll in turn lead to lower ridge heights and less visibility of the structures from adjacent properties.
So the only export that you're planning on doing is the export of the excavation of the cellar holes?
Some of the cellar holes and some of the road, I think.
Yeah, there's a small amount for the road, and there's also a small amount for the stormwater management systems, which are subsurface at this site. And so that's what we'd be looking to do. We had
There should
originally...
be no excavation that would bring the sort of prevailing grade down below what it is. I understand you did have to dig in the grade for cellar hole and for basically these structures, but no other.
Well, the stormwater management system itself within the site, it uses catch basins, and so there would be some pitching of them to that.
course.
But
Mhm.
we have very minor grade change throughout the site. And there's a grading detail sheet within the plans there. We had originally requested a waiver from the requirements of Article 6 and Article 12. If the selectmen would support it, we'd be happy to incorporate those permits as part of the comprehensive permit.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, we chatted a little bit, at the last CBA meeting, and I didn't see personally that this creates much of an issue under the earth removal bylaw. But I also didn't see any particular rationale for exempting this, from the bylaw. I mean, I think we can do an approval. What you're doing seems, ordinary and necessary, but it does give, people a chance to to look at it and comment. So that was my conversation, I think. So consequently, I mean, we felt like, it's not a zoning, arrangement, and it it seemed to me to be a terribly complicated or difficult one, so I didn't understand the rationale for asking it being waived. Just come in and make an application.
Well, the application would be through the comprehensive permit. So
It
that,
doesn't necessarily have to be. It can be incorporated within it, but we can have a separate determination here.
and I can submit to you, so Mass General Laws, Chapter 40B, Section 21,
Mm-hmm.
in short, it states that a single application to build such housing in lieu of separate applications to applicable local boards is required. So consistent with other 40Bs, there's one permit that governs the job.
Correct.
We would not be seeking individual permits. So we'd be asking that the Zoning Board of Appeals would effectively serve as the permit granting authority for these two applications.
But that you're not waiving the application
Correct.
of the bylaw.
Yeah. And we'd be asking for your support at that is done consistent with Chapter 40B regulations.
Okay. Comments or questions?
So basically, there's one, you asked for one,
Correct.
thing,
I'm happy to give
because
you a
it's a
copy of the
40B.
statute as well if you need it.
if you could at some point, that would be great. Thank you. I'm assuming you haven't dealt with this before. This piece of it, or-
No, we haven't had a situation in which we had an earth removal normally.
Normally it's bringing it in.
Yeah. And many of the ones we had was before we had an earth importation bylaw, so. Yeah, I mean, that seems to make sense to me. So, recording that it is not waived, but, it'll be part of.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
So the ZBA is just looking for to know that the selectmen support
They would
this.
like, I'm sure that they would like some assistance in terms of.
I think in short,
that.
if it can be acknowledged that we came here and under normal circumstances with a by right development, this would not be an application that you would be opposed to.
Yeah, see, I guess what I was thinking was that you could come here, we could do a determination, then that could be incorporated into the ZBA's application, final permit.
I just think that's contrary to the whole 40B process.
All right, we'll talk to the ZBA about that.
Okay.
I think it may be 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, because I think that we need to have a slightly, more detailed discussion and have, would have a hearing on it when it was an agenda point for a hearing to allow abutters and so on to comment on it. That would happen. If it happens at the ZBA or it happens with us, it'll be on the agenda and it'll be commented on. If you came into us and talked about it and then we provided a recommendation for incorporation, incorporation, I think that's still consistent with the state law and maybe a more expeditious way of doing it because ZBA doesn't do these,
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
So we'll talk to the ZBA
The
about
other,
coordinating that.
I thought Keith was gonna be here tonight.
Keith couldn't make it at the last minute for,
Yeah.
a reason that he indicated, and it was a valid one, so no.
Okay.
We apologize, he isn't here, but,
Yeah.
all right, and then the cut is the other issue that you're
There's no curb there.
talking about, the curb cut.
Yeah, and there's
Well-
no application for a common driveway permit. There's no application, there's driveway applications, but generally in a conventional subdivision, the subdivision gets approved and the road gets approved, so.
I'd recommend similarly on that you speak
Yeah.
to the, fire chief, speak to the police chief, talk to them about the sight lines, because whether it's the ZBA that's making the decision or the selectmen that are making the decision, they'll need to know that we're not, compromising
Yeah,
sight
the
lines.
geometry
And
of the
that
roadway.
if this were to be approved under normal conditions and outside of a 40B, that it meets all of the requirements, which is what I think you guys had just said.
Correct.
We're
So I
actually-
think if you establish that with the police chief, with the fire chief, and the highway,
Generally, everything was, when we all the roads I've done in town, all the common drives I've done in town have been strictly through the DPW, but I can, you know, we'll address it with the ZBA. You know, I've made every effort to move forward
Mhm.
and talk with all these boards, which is kind of the
Mhm.
cart ahead of the horse, you know.
Mhm. Yep.
And,
No, and generally, when we have to approve a new cut for a driveway or whatever, we consult with the fire department and
Yep.
the police chief, and they confirm the sightline issue along with the DPW, so. The more of that you have when you go to the ZBA, obviously, the easier
it's
that
gonna be
issue.
in 2 days, I don't think
Huh?
I meet with the ZBA in 2 days. I've been trying to meet with, put together several meetings for the last 4 months, but
Mm-hmm,
it is what it is.
okay. All right, so, what I would suggest is that, does anybody else object to the idea of them coming in and us having a noticed hearing on this to make a recommendation to ZBA?
No.
I don't object.
Okay. Is that all right then?
It's up to you.
I don't feel as if there's gonna be a need because the time will expire before that happens.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, any word on when we're gonna have a building inspector?
We would have in a week or two, and we'll be talking about it tonight about having the assistant inspector look at, any urgent things.
Assistant inspector, who's the assistant
The
inspector?
guy over in Clinton has been,
He's never shown up for any of my inspections.
well, he's been named, so we need to chat with him to see if he can handle some of the things that
Okay.
are urgent, but we would expect.
His concern was he wasn't gonna do anything because he's never been compensated.
Hmm?
His concern was he doesn't cover anymore because he doesn't get
Well, we will-
compensation.
Yeah, we figured he probably wants to be compensated, but thanks
Yeah.
for pointing that out.
Yeah. And as you know, I'm proceeding by state law with the work that I'm doing, as probably the malls and probably the
Understand.
hotel.
Yep,
Okay,
all righty.
you got it. Have a good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so we got a couple more minutes here. Um,
Liquor license.
Yeah, you want to talk about the liquor license for a moment? So we're proposing that we will send a note
Town council recommends that Liquor Barn be given notice to.
Yes, no, I saw the email. Yeah, go ahead, though.
That the town council advises that the ABCC's past holdings have been that the town can't take action against a liquor license holder for non-use unless they give notice first.
Right.
And generally 6 months warning before you can really start proceeding with a kind of hearing regarding their rights under the
Mhm.
holding the license. So even though at this point in July, Liquor Barn would be renewing its license for 2018, he still recommends that whether the board give Liquor Barn notice of its obligation to use the license or lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And also alternatively, that the wine seller who brought the challenge in the first place be given its application back, because there is no available all
Right.
alcohol package
I
store
agree with
license at this
that,
time
yeah.
for them to go after.
Yep.
So
And
we have
there's-
to, I'm sorry, we have to approve it again?
All
And
you're
then
doing
give
now,
them
there's
notice,
two
or-
letters you'd be sending tonight, which I drafted if you wanted to go with town council. One would be to Liquor Barn, advising them to use the license or lose it. And the second would be to the wine seller, their counsel, sending them back their application for the liquor license that is not yet available, or there is no available one.
When is it that they renew?
Yeah, that was kind
They would renew on a end of the calendar year basis.
So
they
December?
Got it in 15, they got, renewed timely for 16, they renewed timely for 17. but they've never opened their doors.
Right. I just didn't know if it was
It's
on the calendar year.
It's a calendar year.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought I had heard July or somewhere.
Well, when they initially got it, it was August of 15. There's no prorating. They pay for a full year.
Yep.
So they got it, mid-year, but it's still for that 15 and going forward.
Yeah. So, I mean, all this is telling them is that we may, take action. And I would emphasize that the statute says may. There's nothing that compels the selectmen to do that if, after a fixed time or whatever. And it does seem as though ABCC is a little, heavy on the brakes, because they don't want people to be disenfranchised of their license. I don't really have a, I don't really have a problem, I guess. I'm looking at,
There has been there have been 2 other people interested in filing an application if it's gonna be
right.
invalidated or vacated or made available for any reason.
Mhm.
And the number of licenses you have is based on your population.
All alcohol, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all of them really, but all alcohol is the crush right now. There's only 2. All alcohol package, not restaurant.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not opposed to putting this out there. I'm just wondering if this is,
It sounds like it just gives you options. It gives us the option after 6 months.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I did advise Liquor Barn's counsel that this would be coming, just to make sure I had the correct
Yeah, yeah.
address for them. I
Yeah.
want to send it to Highland Commons and the mail just goes undelivered. So their corporate offices in Canada and their councils in Boston,
No,
and
that's fine.
they're already aware.
Yeah,
It could
no,
be
I was
coming.
just checking, and it is the language advised by council. I just wanted to be sure that this was,
As directed.
No, sufficient
Oh.
notice, because it is, sort of very politely stated, it says that we expect that you will either commence, I suppose your continued failure to exercise license may result in. Yeah, I think that's fine. We will have to have a hearing. We should also check to see, this is about cancellation, right?
I don't know, yeah, could be called cancellation. I'm not sure what the exact term is.
And what happens if they don't
Well, that's
renew?
just where I was going, that
Yeah.
If somebody is not exercised.
Yeah, could someone force the issue around you? I have no idea.
No, that's not the question I was asking was this, that if somebody hasn't exercised it, can that in and of itself be grounds for not renewing it?
It can be, but the ABCC holds it as a property right in a way. So there's a constitutional issue in that you'd be taking something without giving them due notice. So 6 months shot across the bow is adequate warning, and also there'd be a public hearing. There's a whole procedure that you'd follow.
Well, there's a
when you
public
finally-
hearing for renewal too.
No, there's not. We just renew them all at the end of the year in bulk with no public notice
Okay.
whatsoever. Once you hold it, it's kind of pro forma that you just get it renewed as long as you pay.
Okay.
But-
So if you weren't going to renew,
Yes, you'd lose it.
okay,
Yep, in fact, if you do not file your application with this office during the month of November, you've lost it.
Yeah.
right?
They're marketing it supposedly. So it'd be in their interest to find someone to buy it if they don't intend to follow through with it
Right.
versus lose it outright. Can't imagine they'd do that after what they paid for it.
Yeah.
Can imagine.
No, and of course I am concerned to give them a fair
But you have to.
opportunity. Yeah. No, and really what I was asking was, they speak about canceling a license. And again, I wanted to just be sure that whether there was a different rule if it was a renewal issue, That's all.
Ah,
In other words, people know they have to renew, and
right.
if...
We had that happen with a restaurant in town that wasn't exercising it, but
Mhm.
was renewing it, but on their own, after the 2.5-year mark, they just did not seek renewal. So it just went away by itself and
Yeah.
became an available all alcohol license.
Yep. I guess there's no harm in sending this, it's just,
No, I don't think
what
so.
I was thinking was that if, in fact, it was grounds for not renewing, then we're sending this,
No, that's not what town
6 months.
council's warning. They're
Yeah.
saying you need to actually give notice.
Right.
that's fine. And again, when I was looking at it, it talks about cancellation, it doesn't talk about renewal, so I was just... But it can't do any harm. So,
So
yeah.
move to execute the document to send.
Yep, which is a notification that we may consider cancellation of the license if it is not used or they don't communicate plans within
Right.
6 months.
Second.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. And then the next letter is simply returning the application because we have none available.
Motion to
Return the application?
return the
Chair?
application.
Yeah. Any comments or questions on that? All right, hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. And that brings us to 7:30. Huh?
I think they're in the hallway.
Okay.
Yes. Just on the same car if I see them.
Yes.
In the stack of...
And they're in the car of the guy that's always late. Sorry about that. Plus, he's moving a little slower. It really wasn't me. I was actually on time. What's that?
Get him in the car.
Another-
I did.
Reserve fund transfer needs.
Oh, okay.
I'm used to getting my mother-in-law in and out with her walker, and this ain't nothing.
Oh, look, he's on a
So
scooter.
June
I
has
know,
everything
huh?
in a particular order,
It's
so
fancy.
after the building inspector.
I think we'll have the other half of our meeting downstairs in the basement to watch him go down the
So you did
stairs.
that
Yep.
in this. Oh, there it was. Or unless you put it in there.
No, I put it in there.
Okay, so she has it in this
I got it,
order,
yeah.
and I'll hand this out
Good
to
email.
everybody.
Okay.
Actually, this just got
Because you're-
updated, so she added it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It took a second little reading for me to figure it out, but it's like, well,
the order of
because
what
I
we're
was reading on my
doing
phone
tonight.
too, so it's
Okay.
not even properly formatted. I'm like,
If you go
no, we're
through
not,
here
we're
and you find
taking, we
Larry,
have, this is the
it should
surplus
be-
and here's where it's coming. Okay, I get this sort of thing now.
Building
Let's go.
inspector.
Yep.
This goes right after.
British
Do
Racing
Yep.
Green, if you didn't notice
you want to
the
just stick
color.
that right in there?
Okay.
Okay? That's your,
Racing
that's
I've
your
seen those before.
Okay.
Very fancy.
Really
Thank
handy.
you.
Sign in and be recognized.
Nice to see you out and about, Mr. Westerling.
Yes.
bionic.
Right. A bionic man. Yeah.
Yeah, really. How you feeling?
Good.
Good.
I feel good. You know, I'm on the mend, so
Excellent.
another month or so.
He'll be dancing.
Buzz is not
Laps.
coming.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Buzz is out of town.
Oh, yeah. He could really make some cool moves with that scooter. I'm telling
Where is
you.
it?
He's in Puerto Rico.
Oh, nice.
I just came back from Norway, so, you know,
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Okay,
Nice.
go to Norway. Was
it
it
was,
awesome?
it was quite awesome. The fjords are
I was just gonna say, are you now
pretty-
pining for the fjords?
Yes,
Yeah,
I am.
Money
really.
pine-
The north of the Arctic Circle over there is much warmer than north of the Arctic Circle in Alaska.
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I think we're here to
Close out the year.
close
Yes.
out the year.
Give June something to do, because I'm
Pronounce
sure
it
there's
done.
nothing else to do around there.
Yes.
Just hanging out,
Yep.
waiting for you guys.
Chilling.
So it looks like there are 3 reserve fund transfers and 2, 3, 4, 5 internal transfers.
I believe that's correct. Yes.
I don't know the background on really all of them, but do you want to, is there where's the paperwork? Because, you know, I love
It's fine, you
paper.
have
That one?
Yep.
We have all of them in order.
Yeah,
There's the paper.
I'll just take them one by one.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if they start with Selectmen or start with FinCom, is that correct?
June has them in order according
Yep.
to this.
Yeah, I
Yep.
don't think it really matters.
The Council on Aging needed $180 more to pay for the drivers because the bus was used more than budgeted.
That's a good thing.
That's always a good thing when something, well,
Well,
it's good that.
it is a good thing.
It's a good thing because that's a service that
Absolutely.
I'll have to fill all this stuff because we're meeting after this too as well. I I don't, is there any questions at our side or your side,
No.
or who's voting first, or? I've lost track what today is already. It's the 17th.
The 17th.
It's the 10th. It's the 10th and 17th, yes, sorry.
17th, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually.
Look at that.
June even has the right starting balance, which I have fixed. I'd actually caught it, but I hadn't actually
Okay.
written you an email that said I'd recognized that we were off. And so is there a motion second on the FinCom side?
I make a motion that we approve for $180 of council on aging wages.
Second it.
All in favor on FinCom, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstained. I'll get to that cap later. Try to do
Yeah, it's
math.
way under there.
On your side then? I don't know if you guys
Do you
want to
want to do
sign
them
it.
individually, or?
Do you want to do them individually, or are you doing them as a group?
Just so you have all the signatures. maybe.
The next one is building inspector part-time wages for a whole $175.64.
Just more.
And some unbudgeted use of vacation payout.
Okay. Sorry.
That's fine.
This is not old receipts from prior.
This is not old receipts from a prior year. No, we hate old receipts from a prior year. Don't we hate old receipts from prior years? Yes, because that requires a town meeting to take care of those.
I didn't know if we had to
What is
slap
my
any
ending
hands or
balance over there?
anything.
65, 63?
65, 63.
This is how we get balances that are off, is that I do this in my head
Scott's
as we go
man.
through this, as I'm doing 6 other things. I hate pennies, but if it's not our last reserve fund, can we just transfer $176?
Well, that'll make pennies for June, won't it?
The recap, probably, yes.
Do you have problems with the pennies or not?
It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter.
So it's 176. Is there a motion second on the FinCom side?
I'll make the
You want to do that
motion.
one?
Second it.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay.
The ayes have it.
The ayes have it. Public building.
One motion for all three.
Yep. Yeah, we like going the slow and steady
Yes.
approach. Sorry about that. So the public building needs 800 and, bond request says $1,200 they want, because it's testing not covered by elevator contract. I don't know of the history of this.
This is compaction testing that was done, that was not included in the bid for the elevator. It's pre-laying the cement, they do compaction tests.
Okay.
And so we missed that in the bid when we did the project.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't the project have contingency already in it? So is the
Not
contingency for
really, no.
So what was the $830 balance? What account is that?
This is public building. This is town hall. This is basically.
So,
Pretty much, Keith actually was able to cover one other one that came through, but he does not have enough money in the budget to cover this.
Okay.
Because the 1870 Town Hall is not in operation right now, they don't have any money coming through.
Right.
So
Right.
it was coming through.
but this is the fund that basically is the in and the out for the expenses and any revenue that.
Well, no.
No,
that's-
we're paying this out of public
Correct.
building
Building, right.
expenses.
Public
Because it's a
building.
public building and these
Right.
are a couple of minor.
Okay.
Right, so the extra money is not going into their revolving fund to do other things with it. Basically, if there's any extra money in the public building line, it goes back in your free cash
Got
for
it.
next year, like the reserve fund would if it doesn't get
Okay.
used.
Yeah, I mean, it is worrisome about any other contingencies that it may or may
And
not
there,
be
and there may be
covered.
some, as every, we knew it's a very tight project
Right.
money-wise, so. And as we say, we did cover a couple of other minor items out of public
Right,
buildings that were unanticipated because we don't want to.
right.
We don't want to, we
want to-
had extra money in public buildings now, we didn't, that will eliminate some of the very intense pressure on the bottom line of
Yep.
that project during
Yep.
the next year.
All right, I'll make a motion for $1,200.
Second.
All in favor on the FinCom side, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, abstained, and that one has passed. So that's the 3 reserve fund
Okay,
transfers.
before you get on to other ones, let us
Yep.
just make a motion. Could I have a motion to endorse the reserve fund transfers for Council on Aging, Building Inspectors, and Public Building 1870 Town Hall as just voted on by the FinCom?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions on any of this? Okay, hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great, so we can
I want to
sign
hand
those.
those over then to that side of the table.
There you go.
And you guys can put your front signatures on it. So now for internal transfers.
Yep.
And so we'll just start again going on. So unemployment, which we've already done some transfers throughout the year on this. We knew some of this was happening because of the dispatch offices. Chief's not here. I get a sense of how bad this is going to, do we know how bad this is going to affect fiscal year 18? Is this sort of behind us now at this point, or we could have another year that we have to do a bunch of transfers?
I'm thinking there's still 2 dispatchers, off the top of my head, I think there's still 2 dispatchers that are still collecting.
Right.
And I think there was just a teacher.
Okay, because there was a police officer at one point too that
And
was
there
collecting.
also a police officer. I don't know what his status is as of
Okay.
right now, so.
You know, one reason we.
Just an FYI, Dennis has not yet received the final bill, so we're hoping that he's asked for enough money there.
Right, because we have to overdo this one, because if we don't, then we have a previous year's bill that we have to have a special town meeting for, so. And this is an internal transfer.
And that one's coming from chapter 30.
I know when we last got an update, we knew that several of the people on unemployment were actually very actively looking for employment.
Yes.
Because it pays better than unemployment does. Are there more questions on the FinCom side?
Is it enough?
He's asking 10,400.
10,400?
Yep.
There's a balance of 2,000 in the account right now, so that's estimated by Dennis, that's what he feels is should be enough to cover.
Right.
Okay.
In other words, if all of them are still covering all the way through the end of the month, this should be enough to cover them. The hope is a couple of them might have found some, but,
Okay. I make a motion for
Yeah.
$10,400.
Second.
all in favor on FinCom, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. You guys can put your X on that one. Snow and salt, which we actually didn't do at town meeting because there wasn't a special meeting before town meeting. And so we saved a few minutes of a meeting to be able to do this. And so we're going to take it out of, it's actually coming out of health insurance. There was $113,000
Supposed to sign it over here.
available. Oh,
oops,
yeah, we signed in the
we've
wrong
been doing them
column.
wrong.
We signed in the wrong column.
Because this is a different form for internal transfers.
Uh-huh.
We'll do it right for the next
Okay.
one.
We'll get it right.
Should we sign under finance and let them?
And so,
You can just,
We'll just change the
Change
heading.
the
yeah.
heading.
we just
well,
changed
I
that.
signed in the other column.
Scott did it right.
Okay,
So what-
Scott
Just put
signed
Board of
underneath
Selectmen
the
over here,
select,
and you guys can sign
Yeah.
it.
yeah.
Here, I'll sign on the selectmen side.
Way to go, Scott. Way to do it.
I know. Gosh, I signed on the right column.
I'll sign the other ones in the clerk's spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
That-
all sign these, right?
Yep.
Yeah, these were signed. And so, so snow and salt was $56,219.95, which is not huge, but still big because it was all those little tiny, almost snowstorms that forced us to put down salt.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of accumulation, that's for
Yep.
sure. So that normally is, you're saying we normally do that out of,
We normally do that
That
out
was
of
special
free
before.
cash at the town meeting before town meeting. In some respects, instead of taking it out of free cash then, we're taking it out of a line now that means less free cash. So the impact on the taxpayers is the same, whether or not we did it at the special town meeting or did it here. We had to take the risk that there would be a line that we could pull it out of
Correct.
here. But I think at that point, we thought there was a good shot at it, so we didn't want to do a whole special town meeting, have a new warrant article, and have people add
Yeah.
16 things to it just for that.
And if not legally, we can raise it on the recap sheet for next year's taxes. if we
Right.
had to.
okay.
Right. Yeah, we knew that was the fallback, right. Was there a motion and second? Did we vote on this one?
I would make that motion.
And I second?
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained.
Do we
Sign
need a
it-
motion to
the
sign it in the correct place?
Sign it in the
or
correct
we-
place,
Yeah, really.
And so, even after doing that, there's still $46,723.39 available in 32B.
Yep.
And so,
Before
have-
you do that, let me take those two, and
Yep.
we'll take a vote.
Okay.
I would accept a motion to approve the transfer from the 32B line item of $10,400 to unemployment insurance and $56,219.95. You left the pennies in this time?
Yeah, because it doesn't go to the reserve fund. I'd have to put it in the report at the end of the year.
I just wanted to be sure.
Yep.
Yep.
That,
And he doesn't have to do the calculations.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do calculations. If I do the math, I don't want it involved.
no, I wanted to be sure we were all voting on the same thing here,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
all. Okay.
So moved.
Sign in the right place.
All right, any comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we'll all have to sign this one.
Right, and the next one is snow and salt part-time wages, needs $133.20. They're actually taking it out of snow and salt overtime wages, and so they had sort of more part-time than overtime, which is not a bad thing.
Your turn, Dave.
Make a motion to transfer to snow and salt wages part-time.
Second.
$133.
All in favor on FinCom, say aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? And that is all that's coming out of snow and salt overtime wages. So the last two come out of the last account.
Okay. There you go, that's the one that I corrected. So you're signing in that column. Just so we don't totally compound the error here.
Right.
Okay.
You good?
Okay. Then the next is moving,
Police wages.
sorry, I was just going to do this one.
Yeah, he's gonna do that,
Um,
yes. Start back and
It's,
forth.
it's moving $133.20 from snow and salt overtime
catch
wages
up to us.
to snow and salt part-time wages.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The last two are going to come from police full-time wages. There was at the end of the year an estimated of about $60,500, a little less than that, available in the fund. And so the first one is sick pay, and so this is They said that it's because they underestimated the sick pay needed. They're short by $1,546.08. So we'll probably have to have a conversation at some point about whether or not that we've just pushed this forward and we're going to have a problem in fiscal year 18 as well. Do you know any more about the background to this? I thought I saw Tom back there.
We just have more people on the police side that are eligible for sick time buyback at the end of the year.
Okay.
And
So I think the number hasn't changed. I think
No.
you can answer that in several years.
Yeah, did communications, did they have any buyback when they left?
Just Donna. did.
Okay.
So that may
They
have
had a
added some.
Buyback early.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Okay.
we actually had, building inspector out on sick leave. And trying to think who else was out on sick.
Chief Z.
Chief Z was out on sick too, so there was coverage there.
Right.
So we actually used up more of it this year than
The normal.
normally
Yeah.
we do.
Okay. Is there a motion and second on FinCom?
My only other question
Yep.
on this would just be why there was still $60,000 in
Yeah.
the wages.
I can answer that one for you too.
Okay.
Yep.
So we had Sergeant Geis retire. Our plan had been to fill his position. As we filled his position, I had a resignation as well.
Got it.
And in waiting to fill that position, I've been waiting for police academies to graduate to try and get an academy trained officer, so we had leftover wages this year.
Okay. All right, so moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. The last one, and actually 7 is not exactly a giant number of these at the end of the year. There's been years we've had
No,
a lot of
absolutely,
these to do.
absolutely.
One of my least favorites, fire wages and expenses for another $22,000. Although to be fair, these are numbers that we've known about this at FinCom a couple of months because we did a couple of interim sort of pieces to hope that this number
Went away.
well, I hope it went away. I knew it was never going to really go
Yeah.
away, but
Boy, can
we
you-
had some hopes. And so this is 22,500. Are there questions?
Just the addition, is this just additional calls? Is this to?
Chief, you want to speak to that?
He's back there
Sure.
too.
Part of it was the 10,000 when we went through negotiations
Mhm.
last year that I didn't think we'd be able to make up. And the other was, again, an increased number of calls, plus the expenses. We juggled everything we could and took care of the expenses, because we had a $9,000 pump rebuild on engine 2. We had $4,300 spent on the pickup and multiple repairs, and another $3,500 on the ambulance and replacing the turbo. So we've had some big hits, and again, the number of calls we've had have been on the increase.
And so this is, so do we always lump wages in with expenses and
You did.
the fire side?
We did, when we passed this budget this year, we lumped wages and expenses into
Oh,
one line
Because
item.
we
Yeah.
really didn't have a good,
Well, because we
Yeah,
didn't know what
no,
was
feel
going to happen this year, and
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, not normally.
that
it's
was-
not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and actually for fiscal year 18, we separate expenses and wages
Yeah.
into separate
Yeah.
lines.
Okay, so this is the last of.
Yes,
I thought we had separated it, but.
right.
so I make a motion that we transfer to fire wages and expenses 22,500.
Because we can't kick this down the road any further.
We can't get down,
Can't get
the year's ended at this point.
Yes.
Ended 10 days.
That's about it.
Yeah, it's the end of the block.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay, and abstentions. And so that's the last two.
Okay. For the selectmen, I would accept a vote, transfer the amount of $1,546.08 into the sick pay account and $22,500 into fire wages and expenses. Those monies coming out of police wages full-time.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
Nope.
All right, hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
Yep.
All right.
Just because it's, we've just finished sort of all the motions for fiscal year 17, and we're 10 days into fiscal year 18, I've actually started putting together the calendar for the budget for fiscal year 19, and will. Well, let's start our dates, because our meetings and stuff, and so I will probably start reaching out to you about when we want to do the selectmen meeting in October and February, and when you're doing the packet and other stuff like that.
Awesome.
We probably won't finalize obviously that tonight, but probably by the early part of September, we'll have at least a good calendar put together. Because, you always have to be working on 2 fiscal years at the same time.
Absolutely. It makes things more interesting now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Happy new fiscal year.
Yes, happy
Indeed.
New Year. We don't have parties today.
So happy.
How about happy close last year's fiscal year?
Yeah, really.
Drink it up, finish all that paperwork. And we'll go down the hall. So we'll go down the hall for our normal meeting space.
All righty.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I have mine on a scrap piece here, and I first try to match them all up.
All right.
You're too low. OT would be mad at you.
That's,
Yes.
Send an email. I'll respond to you.
I think I where we left off here. Okay, why are we re-signing this lip?
Because the other one got lost.
Oh,
Oh, gee.
Not here. Yay.
okay.
Oh, my goodness.
All right. You understand what this is?
Yes.
Yep. We've done it before. I don't
Nope.
really think we need a vote. Oh,
No, you don't. You really don't. I just wanted to put it here.
just
So happens that they overnighted it.
Just a
and
quick
brought it
overview
today.
for Lisa.
yeah. This is a note that's required under lip arrangements. Which, that's, no, it's actually a local initiative program
Oh, see?
for affordable housing.
Too
And
many
it,
acronyms.
it is a certificate that a particular person is an eligible purchaser of the property. It documents the total consideration paid for the property, so it's a control over the transfer of affordable housing that is basically price controlled. And again, we had done this, when? A while ago, right?
Yep.
March or something.
Yeah, I mean,
April.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I suppose, yes, now that we have a different board, we probably should vote it again, you know?
It's a different chair now, yeah.
Yeah. So, a vote to exercise the eligible purchaser certificate.
So moved?
Second?
Any comments or questions? Okay. Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we had reviewed the facts of that the last time we had done it, so. Okay, what am I signing for Mr. Brazo?
There's 2 more pieces of paper that needed to be placed on our letterhead that needs
Okay.
your signature.
Okay, and we have done this?
You did 2 of 4 pieces of paper.
No. A copy of the contract and a report of the process is used.
Those are the other 2 pieces of paper. They are the report and they
Right.
are, yeah.
So what I'm saying is they have gone or are going to each of these.
They will with this, yeah. Actually, Sean's gonna be circulating to the IG's office and all those people.
Okay. I'm certifying that I have provided a copy of the contract and a report of the process used to execute the contract to each of the following parties.
He says he will quarterback that. He wants to do that. He will be doing that. So with your certification, he's going to be doing it.
But I haven't done it, so how can I certify
He's
it?
doing it simultaneously. All those documents are gonna go with it.
I don't know.
We could retool the letter, say, I'm certifying that herewith I am now, you know what I mean, giving copies to all these addressees. In fact, you're not doing it though. Sean wants to do it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't he sign it then if he's doing it?
Well, no, I mean, the town has to do it, but.
Yes, why don't we say, I provide herewith a copy?
Okay.
Because I don't, yeah, I haven't done, I haven't sent these, so. Okay,
Yeah,
so,
that one's the heavy hitting letter, so we'll fix that letter. And then the other ones I think are not.
yeah, okay. So that it will read, I provide herewith a copy of the contract and a report of the process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and then there's a lull, I'll jump up and do it
Yep.
real quick.
Well, that's fine. Okay.
You already signed that one, so let's just strike out that letter so that doesn't go out the door. Right, didn't you already sign the one at the IG's office? That you had the other day. There's 2 other
Hold on,
flagged.
hold on. I'm looking at this, okay?
Oh, you didn't sign that one. Yeah, that's not the one where you're certifying that you've attached. Correct.
No, I understand that. I signed 2 things.
Right,
These 2
and there's
things.
supposed to be 4
This
things
is
signed.
a new thing to sign, this second
Correct.
thing. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
And this is the report of the process used to execute net metering purchase agreement.
Right.
Okay. All right, and do people want me to read this? They want to take a look at it. It indicates the background, why we did it, that we've entered into a net metering agreement with Seaboard Solar Holdings. Describes the review process, that we solicited proposals from various solar net metering providers. We received proposals from multiple companies. Upon review of the proposals, the board determined that Seaboard's proposal was in the best interest of the town. If you remember, we just went with rate as a determination. It says Seaboard's pricing also offered the best savings to the town among the proposals. In our board meeting on February 10th, the board authorized the chairman of the Board of Selectmen to enter into an MSCPA with Seaboard in the following terms: 20 years, 25% discount to utility net meter credit value with an 8% floor. All these are correct, right?
Says Sean. I didn't draft that.
Okay. And the allocated percent.
Would you like to have town council review it or energy committee?
Well, the NMCPA has these terms in it.
Okay,
Oh, or that's what this purports. So
correct.
I would have to look at the NMCPA to actually say this. Okay?
See, he put that to us last week as an emergency, and then it wasn't an emergency because it could wait till tonight, and he's on vacation this week, so I'm not sure what emergency he's really up against.
Okay. If I just get we have a copy of our net metering credit purchase agreement, correct?
Yeah, I have it scanned.
Yeah. So I need to confirm that these terms are correct, because I don't remember whether these are the
Yep.
terms that are
Now?
in there.
Do you want me to go print
We
it
can
out?
do it
Okay.
in a minute, or
Okay.
I can do it tomorrow morning if
Okay.
I run short of time tonight. So anyway, I can't, I just need to look to see whether those are the terms of the agreement. I mean,
No, I have not
Sean's,
checked that.
Sean's a good guy, but
We had a little error that we fixed before.
yeah, exactly. So is that all right? Can I have a vote to authorize me to sign this, provided that I confirm those terms in the agreement?
So moved.
Okay, all right. And I could probably come by sometime tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Okay? You around
Prepare
tomorrow
them
morning?
tonight, so yep.
Huh?
I'll prepare them tonight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, they're prepared. I just have to
I'll
sign.
send you that agreement if you want to look at it tonight.
No, I have a call at Tokyo at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
and
I'm
then-
here tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
We can do this
I'll
tomorrow.
come by. If you just have the agreement out, I'll send you an email when I get home as to when I'll stop by.
That's great.
Okay?
You'll be here.
All right. Okay, we're at 8 o'clock. Come on down. Do we have copies of this for them? The
Yeah, I put multiple copies
Okay.
in their paper clip.
Yep, good. All right. Give copies to everybody. I think we have enough. Okay. All right. I talked to Bob this afternoon. I apologize for missing the last trustees meeting. I said I end up going to a lot of meetings, and if people just like send me an email a day or two before, I sometimes, I'm not necessarily watching every posted meeting, so I do apologize. I put together, knowing you guys were coming in tonight, an outline of what we should address in the letter. You'll see that there are a couple of, alternative steps, so we couldn't quite do the letter yet, but this lays out the things that we have to do to pin it down. If you don't mind, I'll just take
Go
a
ahead.
moment and explain it. So anyway, we will put into the letter an introduction saying, we really need to kind of pin this down because the town's, going to start to spend money on this, and that's why we need to pin it down. And then there are 4 things to be discussed in terms of pinning it down. The first is the determination of the applicability. As you guys know, the one that affects us is 25 individuals daily, at least 60 days of the year.
Right.
And obviously, we do exceed that. I have been told, and I have not been able to pin it down, but we'll ask DEP and first, and then maybe town council. But my understanding is that there is, and I could not find it. I went through all the policies of DEP over the last weekend and everything. That there is a policy that provides for discounting this calculation where a use is, if you will, sort of transactional in nature, and where one doesn't expect that everyone who has access to the
Use them.
facilities will actually use them.
Right.
And that this applies to things like banks and so on, where, obviously you can get, 100 people in a bank, but you don't expect that 100 people are going to use the men's room in the bank, so.
This is what Mariel Stone addressed in her meeting with us.
And did she, yes?
Well, she discussed banks,
Right.
that this could
Exactly.
be
So-
a situation like that, but I couldn't find it either.
Yeah,
And I
and I look
went
forward
through
to,
everything
so-
too.
And
Yes.
she had nothing for you.
Well,
She
she
had-
didn't cite any, she didn't give
Yeah,
us a
so-
site, but.
So anyway, the first thing we need to do is pin that down, find out what kind of relief it is, and apply whatever discount, relief, whatever there is to our number. Because
Right.
if that results in us coming, the sort of adjusted use level
Right.
being underneath this, then we're not a public water supply.
Right.
And, that doesn't mean we don't address, from a pragmatic point of view, being sure we have potable water and, appropriate sewage treatment. But it means we're dealing with that as a direct problem rather than dealing with compliance. Okay, so my proposal is, I could send a note to Mariel to say, can you please, give us some information on this? If she can't, we just have to sort of see what her reaction is. But that's key, because if we have an opportunity there, then the letter's very simple. We say, this, here's our history. I talked to Bob about the fact that we even have histories going back to 2005 that are in the file.
Yeah, we have your letters.
And
I
so,
have the
we have a
GP file.
good long history. We can apply the discount figure. We can send them a letter and ask them for confirmation that they agree that we're outside of it unless there's a material challenge. Okay, so that's easy. That's the first step that we need to do. If we can't get a buy on that, and then we have to deal with at least the next two issues, and that is one, we have to get a nailed down confirmation from them that they would view this as a renovation rather than an expansion, and that the water supply will be grandfathered and not have to meet the express rules regarding public water supply. So we need to get that confirmation from them, and that's what we'll put in the letter if we have to go this route. And then we need to describe the reasons why this is a renovation and not an expansion, and I put the sort of bullet points down. And again, if you guys meet or you have other, a couple other bullet points to do, we probably won't get to this until, we won't get to this until we get the answer to the first bit. Please, feel free to add something, but no new facilities, such as meeting rooms, et cetera. There'll be negligible impact to existing facilities such as shelf space, computer stations, et cetera. There's no material increase to staffing as a result of this. And the proposed project addresses only administrative space and access in the following respects: stairs, elevators, and changes to the floor plan for access to stacks and desks, et cetera.
Right, and I think the other thing that we need to add to that, that's most important, is it's not going to increase the usage.
Right. Yes, and I think then that's, that one is one that, because none of us, has
we
a
don't have a
crystal ball, we don't
right.
know. So
But-
basically what we say is, we look at this, that there's no reasonable basis to suggest that the usage should increase. But those are the points
Right.
that we have to make. And so therefore, we would want to then request that a plan consistent with these purposes and with the conceptual plans submitted would be viewed as a renovation, and we want a commitment from them that it would be viewed as a renovation. Again, if we change what we're representing or or go outside the conceptual plans, then, obviously all bets are off. But, and then, we need to ask them for their thoughts on the relief that would be available to us under a grandfathered use. And I came up with the use of existing well with testing, a new well with testing, and exemption from the wellhead reserve, because obviously there's no place there we can put it with a reserve. And then finally, the use of a filtration system, in combination with a new well, whatever. DEP regulations do allow for filtration systems and so on. I didn't see anything specific about reverse osmosis systems or something like that would be probably more suitable to, and are more compact and more suitable to this volume of use. But I would suggest that we specifically ask them if, as a category of filtration system, which the regulations allow, they would allow a reverse osmosis system. So those were the pieces as far as water supply that I felt we would want to ask them if relief would be available along any of those lines. Again, with the object, obviously that things have to be tested and it has to be potable water. But my own sense is that a reverse osmosis system is probably good with or without a new well, because my feeling is even if you dig a deeper well or a well, in a slightly different location on that property, it's not going to be a guarantee, because of the absence of the wellhead and the closeness to roads and everything, that even a new well is going to solve the problem. But a filtration system might, so anyway.
We have to have space for that. We have to have space for that. That's the only thing I'm thinking.
Yeah. But again, that's why we want to know this ahead of time, you see, because
Of course.
yes, if you need to put a bump off, the end of the building, another, cellar room that contains that, then that's something we have to do. And then finally, and it's a separate issue, and this would probably apply whether or not, we were exempt from the public water supply, is relief on the septic system.
Right.
Well, we already talked to them about that.
Yeah, and again, considering it's a renovation here, could we receive, approval to install a tight tank, which is probably the most practical. And if that's not available, then to discuss, variances that might be allowable to, provide a replacement system on site, which would probably end up with one of those towers of power like you see in some of the, no, just very much, these raised platforms which contain the septic system.
I'm not familiar with that.
If you look at, there's a white house next to the cemetery as you're going around the corner in the center of town. So there's a cemetery and there's a white house right after it. If you look in the backyard of that, you will see that the entire backyard is used up with a large cinder-blocked mound, which is the septic system, which has been raised sufficiently to be above the water table, but goes right to the property lines and stuff like that. So, but that gives you an example of the, I think a tight tank is really.
She discussed a tight tank, and I'm sorry, I briefly looked at my notes from our meeting. We met with Marielle Stone, who's now the deputy director. It was last, what did I say, August or September of 2016. So I went and reviewed my notes before we had our meeting today. And she recommended a tight tank. We had a discussion about various things. She also said, our well does not comply with the road, the distance from the road.
Right.
But our water tested okay. Now, she recommended that we have the water tested again, which we have not done.
No, and that's fine.
I think it's something we should be doing, because she again raised that in her last email.
And again, I mean, one of the reasons why I want to ask if a reverse osmosis system would be allowable is that, I mean, that's something we may want to think about regardless, because that is a shallow well, and if it tests adequately now, there's no particular guarantee that it would test the same if we had, 100-year flood and, that sort of thing. So, I think we need to explore that. But the point here is that I think if we get answers to each of these three things and get the confirmation, then we know that we've defined, parameter in which we can reasonably expect to go forward with the project. And we're not gonna be called up short after we spent $20,000 or something like that. Because keep in mind, personnel change, it seems like we have a good listening ear at DEP right now, so it's a good time to move. In 2005, they were much less sanguine about the idea that even that any expansion beyond the existing walls wouldn't be viewed as an expansion. That was one of the reasons we came up short in 2005. It does seem like they're taking a more pragmatic approach here to say, well, okay, we're not going to be quite that black and white about it. And of course, we couldn't do what we needed to do within the existing footprint. You have to push it out a little bit.
That's what I was just going to ask you. So the difference between a renovation and the addition is additional square footage.
No. The way that they do it is if you expand the use, and the use is sort of defined as the number of people who have access to the water and bathroom facilities. Okay, and again, that may be subject to some discount because of the nature of the use. But so if your expansion could reasonably be expected to increase that use, then it's an expansion. They're very, obviously, what they're focused on here is public water supply. So it's like an expansion of the use of the public water supply. Now, in 2005, DEP was saying, you know what, our rule is if you expand the footprint, you're going to expand the use, and we're not going to look beyond that, and that's why we couldn't go anywhere with it in 2005. It now looks as though, they're willing to look at this as a renovation, even though we do have to marginally expand the footprint of the building. But again, the fact that they were so black and white in 2005, that's one of the reasons I want to be sure that we nail this to the floor now, so that we don't spend $20,000 or more in another year or whatever, and then find we can't do it.
Oh, understood. And I think, had either any of the selectmen been at the meeting with her that we had last year, you would have seen, she very clearly said to us, no, I understand what the situation is, and yes, this is something, and we can make this work, whether it's public or not.
Good.
So.
And all we want to do is document it.
No, understood.
Okay.
Clear. Okay, so you would like us to draft the letter? Is that what you're saying at this point?
No, actually, but at this point, I just wanted to outline what I thought should be in the letter, because when I spoke to you before, I had the idea that I could write more of the letter and put in sort of, blocked out language. But as I actually sat down to write it, I realized, wait a minute, there's like two alternate realities here. One is, is this applicable or not? And then if it is, what are the questions? So I decided instead to outline, how we should approach it. So I think the next step is to go to Marielle, and I don't know whether you would like to, or you would like me to, or you would like to arrange a conference call, because I have a conference number that we can dial into at any time with Marielle to ask her about that discount. I'm characterizing it as the discount question, because that's, I think, the first thing we have to do. The sort of banks, etc.
So we need to establish whether or not we're going to be public.
We need to know what that is, yes. What the discount is and whether it's applicable to us, and sort of how it operates. And then we need to apply it to our attendance records.
Get this in writing
And
too?
then as I say, if we're out of it, then that's great. We can go to her and say, hey, thank you, for that information. Here's the attendance records. Here's the calculation. We're not. We're not a public water supply. We'll obviously continue to test, and we obviously still have to then just deal with the issue of the the tight tank, which you say she was
Mhm.
in favor of. So that makes it a simpler letter.
Mhm.
So that's the first step.
Okay, I'm still a little I'm not entirely clear. So our options are, we can have a conference call with Marielle,
Mm-hmm.
we can send her an email,
Mm-hmm.
or we can send her a letter.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we decide now which option we want to choose? Because, part of why we're here is we're concerned that time is marching on.
Sure. Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
I think personally the easiest thing to do would be send her an email.
Yep.
Because then we don't all need to be in the same place at the same time.
That's right.
It's
And
also
see what
the
comes
holiday.
back.
Mhm.
And then if we have to follow it up, we can do that.
Okay, so do we want to do that, or do we want you to do that?
Well, I think the email should, simply say that, we're above this level, but we understand that, there may be relief for certain. I mean, I could give you language on that tomorrow, or send it to her and copy you. How do you prefer?
What do you think?
How about sending it to all of us, and then we're gonna meet, look it over, and then we can get it back to you, and then send it off to her?
Okay, I'll send
Yeah.
you the text.
All right.
Yep.
Okay, but,
When are you meeting next?
In 2 weeks, we were hoping to have it within 2 weeks, so we
Right.
could move and.
No, I mean, that's a short 2 or 3 sentences, most of which I've already written in this
Right.
outline.
Okay.
So yes, we can get
So
that
do you
to
You
you
have
next day.
everybody's email? You have everything?
Mary?
I can connect you with everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know that I have.
No, I gave you Charlene's the last time I was in.
Oh,
Remember, we had the Mr.
No.
Hodge?
but okay.
What I will do is I'm going to
Fine.
send it to Mary, and Mary
and Mary
forward
can
it.
send it out to
Okay,
us.
yeah.
Okay, and then we'll take a look at it, and we'll get back to you, and
That's
you
right,
can mail it
and
off.
then we email
for the
it to
selectmen.
her, and then, so if
Right.
you want an answer in 2 weeks, I'll get that to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Great.
Or get it to Mary tomorrow, and she can get it to you guys. And then, if you get it sort of, I mean, I don't think it's anything you have to take a vote on. I mean, it's just,
Oh, no.
this is the question, and if somebody wants to tweak or whatever, so,
Right.
as soon as you get back to me and say it's okay, I can send it to Mary Ellen and copy you guys.
Great.
Okay?
Sure.
And
That's-
if, I would
that's fine.
suggest if we do that this week, you have a halfway decent chance of having a response before your meeting 2 weeks from
Mhm.
now.
And I think you are correct. Before she leaves this job, if she's the person who's making the
Yeah, yeah,
decision,
no, I
we
think-
want that commitment.
Exactly.
Which is why we're anxious to move
No,
ahead.
absolutely. Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very
All right.
much. Are we the last item on the agenda tonight?
No, not quite.
Executive sessions.
We had last week off, so you should have paid for
Have a
that.
good
Give it to you, you can circulate it. So make sure everyone gets it.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you for your time.
Thank
everyone.
you. All right. Looks like I've buried my agenda here somewhere. All right. So, we have the revised list of 2017 Board of Selectmen appointments.
So to show you, there's 3 versions of that there. Paperclip at the top is what I'm asking for you to sign.
Okay.
The next version down shows in green everything that's been added or changed.
Okay, the one that we have signed has a bunch of reds and some strikings.
That always had that, yeah, because the
Okay.
reds are vacants and the strikings are just people who've resigned.
Okay.
So that top copy is to execute, the next copy down shows exactly the same as the first, just highlighting in green what's been changed. And then the third version is what you last signed. I don't know how else I can show it to you other than laying off
Okay.
8 pages out the table, but primarily we're changing appointments you've made since you last did this, which was in May.
Okay.
You've made some appointments. Also adding the town management study committee, which is entirely new.
Okay.
And catching the fact that the fire chief wasn't in all of his capacities retroactive to February 2016 when he was first
Okay.
appointed. So it just notes that.
Okay, does anybody else want to look at the?
I looked at it online
Okay.
today and it looked, I
Okay.
didn't see any issues with it.
Then you can make a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
That was a yes, Lisa. Okay.
All right. I'd like to, personally, I'd like to pass over item 11, which was feedback, Town Management Study Committee and the building inspector finalists. I think we can perhaps deal with that at another time, because we have to do an exec session, and we're getting to...
Tell me when you'd like me to re-agenda it, otherwise I'll leave it off.
Is that okay? I mean, there's nothing urgent there, and we can certainly do it, but we're
We have
short
a
of
lot
time,
to
and
do
Yeah.
in a-
we have a fair amount
in a
to do in
short
executive session.
time,
Yeah.
Well, you know, only thing I would say about that is that we had good candidates. It was a difficult decision for both of these people.
Yes, absolutely.
That's all. I mean,
That's
if
really
Mary
all that-
wants to
Yeah.
respond in that manner.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, really.
That,
Um,
basically, that's it, in a nutshell.
Yep,
Agreed.
Okay, I
Okay.
can do that.
yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Anything else to be raised in open session?
Oh, just also there are a lot of other open positions.
There's,
If you
well, yeah,
want
there's
it.
plenty. I actually, with that list that you just gave me, and all those red vacants, I can then blast them out there.
Sure.
Awesome.
But the
Excellent.
capital planning committee, you have 2 appointments, we have no applicants yet, and the deadline for that is August 1st, so
Yep.
that's 2 weeks left to go.
Does,
Okay.
Yep.
does
Keeping
the-
in mind that we can also appoint a member of the committee to that, so.
Does the person who wrote the Town Management Study Committee applicant, does she have children? Because I thought maybe, does she have children in the
Yeah,
school district?
I don't know.
I
Because,
think so.
because I was gonna say, they're looking for someone who's not connected with the school for this regionalization study too.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Specifically not connected to the school.
Right.
that's interesting.
Do you want me
Yeah.
to notify her that? Or
If you-
check
if
with
you wanna
central office
mention it.
first?
Just maybe put it on that same list.
Put it on the list?
Well,
Of
that's-
the-
There's a
of the
list of
list of
openings.
available vacancies.
Who's perpetuating, the selectmen aren't putting that
No,
out there to fill.
no, that's the,
No,
School
no,
board,
I'm
but-
just, no, you'd have to contact the school.
yeah.
Well, just to make sure I know what they're looking for, I'd ask the school department to give it to me. I can ask central office to give it to me, I can put it up on Facebook if they
They're just
want.
basically looking for anyone who lives in the town that doesn't have a student.
Okay.
Okay, I'll ask about it.
And is not a town
And
official,
that's the
I guess.
regionalization study subcommittee, right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I think the executive session will probably be pretty quick.
Yeah, I suspect, but,
Yeah.
no, and, you know, but I still wanted to move it along just in case.
Right.
Because
So that's taken care of.
getting out at 10 to 9 gets me like in the door just in time to pick up the phone and
Mhm.
be on the line.
Can Joni
With
make
two
conversation with someone?
Joni
You're late.
is on the vineyard.
Yeah.
Oh.
And, no.
Okay.
So, anything else for open session?
Nope.
Nope, okay. Then I'd like to take a roll call to go into executive session for 2 purposes. One is to discuss the regional dispatch center personnel for update, and the second is contract negotiation with a contract employee, the building inspector. And will there be a collective bargaining input for Teamsters Highways? Or?
No.
No.
It was
Not
just
really.
communication that, yeah.
Okay, all right. All right. So for those reasons, we will not be going into open session after,
Except to adjourn.
except to adjourn.
Right. So moved.
Roll call.
Oh, Keith, aye.
Andrew, aye.
Saki, aye.
All right.
Executive session? Yep. Okay. You could go at finance if